Hey everyone, it's Rock for Cash, the People's Champ, coming to you live from Cash Stadium. Well guys, I thought I'd just do a quick little update on what's been happening in the NFL since my last video, and in particular free agency signings over the last few months. Rock's put together his top 10 signings so far, and yeah, just be interesting to see if you think the same with me or whether I've left someone out. Before I start though, always a song, and this one is a song by Avicii, For a Better Day, Swedish singer, coming up for a year since he committed suicide. Yeah, do your research on this one, guys, and watch the video and you'll know exactly why he was killed off. But anyway, back to a bit more fun with a bit of free agency news. Okay, so just some other news before I get into that. We've had Rob Gronkowski retire, the Gronk from the Patriots. Great player. I think he's played on nearly everybody's team. Everyone loves the Gronk. Great character. He's really going to be missed. Another one that the Rock for Cash really likes is Jordy Nelson. He retired as well. All the best to him. Greg Olsen, another one. There was some news earlier on that he was going to retire and become a commentator, but Cash hasn't seen any more about that one, so stay tuned. We'll keep an eye out on that one. And another one, Jason Witten, talking about retirements. He's come out of retirement and he's going to go and play with the Cowboys again. Another news, Demaryius Thomas was delisted from the Texans, still not picked up by anybody. So notable free agency signings that are absent from the Cash's top 10. Tevin Coleman's gone to the 49ers. That should be a good one for them. Cordarrelle Patterson, adding to the Bears' strength, has gone from the Patriots. Cole Beasley, Frank Gore, Tyler Eifert have all gone to the Buffalo Bills. There's some good signings there, especially Tyler Eifert. Good tight end. If he can just stay fit, he'll do well there. My boys, the Chiefies, have signed Carlos Hyde. Just as a backup, I would have thought, to Williams. So, you know, if he can stay fit, he'll do really well. Randall Cobb, interesting one, leaving the Packers, going to the Cowboys. Probably past his day, the old Cobb loaf, but, you know, he'll pop up every now and then with some touchdowns. Interesting one here, Ryan Fitzpatrick now with the Dolphins. This bloke's nearly played for every NFL team. He's definitely the NFL whore when it comes to moving around, but we wish him all the best anyway. One of Maz's love childs, Deshaun Jackson, now going to be back at the Eagles after spending some time at Tampa Bay. So interesting to see how he goes there. Ty Montgomery just recently signed with the Jets. That should be he'll be a good backup there. The Lions have been busy too, signing CJ Anderson, Jesse James, the tight end from the Steelers, and Danny Amendola, another NFL swapping team whore. Interesting one yesterday brought up by Team Mazza. I missed this one, but Chris Hogan's decided to hop out of bed from Tom Brady and hop into bed with Cam Newton. So he's gone to the Panthers. That one's going to be interesting too. Cash's opinion, probably a downgrade for him. He had Tom Brady throwing to him, the greatest of all time, if you ask Nickety. Now he's going to have Cam Newton if he actually plays. So, yeah, I think Chris Hogan might have a bit of a long season there. The Raiders have signed Isaiah Crowell. He showed a little bit of form in a few games. Case Keenum, spastic, he's just gone to the Redskins. He'll just end up just dying there. Latavius Murray, an interesting one. He's gone to the Saints. Shows a lot of promise, this guy, but doesn't really deliver very often. And Jared Cook also to the Saints. Another tight end from the Raiders. So, you know, we'll just see how they go. And Dante Moncrief has gone over to the Steelers. So with that, that's Rock's sort of fringe free agency pickups. So he's just going to move on now into his top 10. So number 10, the cash is looking at Jordan Howard, running back that was at the Bears, has now moved his way across the Eagles. Pretty consistent sort of player, this bloke. So the cash seems to think that he might do okay at the Eagles. Jay Ajayi still injured. Not much else really there. So he should do okay as their number one running back and probably a good pickup around 7, 8, 9 of the draft. Interesting one here, number 9, Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco, I would have thought, would have just played out his career at the Ravens. And he's been a good player over the years, probably dropping off a little bit now, but he's made the move over to the Broncos. The Broncos, you know, they're a team in the Cash's Chiefies group, and as far as I'm concerned, the Broncos are just shithouse, and I hope Joe can do something for them, but, you know, the Cash doesn't hold much hope here at all. Number 8, probably a surprise in this list, Mark Ingram, probably at twilight of his career, moving from the Saints to the Ravens. The Ravens, interesting team, the Ravens. No one really talks about them, but they're not a bad side. So, you know, he should do okay in the running back position there. So all the best to you, Mr. Ingram. Number 7, yeah, look, I could have had this guy a little bit higher or a little bit lower, but number 7's probably about right for Nick Foles. Nick Foles moving from the Eagles across the Jags. The Jags, they're an interesting team. They were let down last year by their defence, really. The year before, they were flying. So, you know, Nick Foles probably will make a difference to their team. He's, you know, a smart quarterback. If he stays fit, you know, you've got to be a good player to win an MVP in a Super Bowl, I would have thought. They don't just hand those out like chocolates at the Willy Wonka factory. So, you know, the Jags have probably done okay there with Nick Foles. Number 6, now this guy could have been a lot higher in the Cash's opinions. Cash still filthy on this bloke. As far as the Cash is concerned, he cost the Cash the Duty Bowl last year, and we're talking about Kareem Hunt, the running back who was flying at the Chiefies, got into a little bit of trouble over a video that surfaced, and he's decided to go and play for the Browns this year. As I said, this guy would have been a lot higher in the Cash's list, except for the fact that he's going to miss the first 8 weeks of the season after being suspended. So Cash is not going to wish this guy all the best at all. Kareem Hunt, you can get fucked. Number 5, yeah, look, again, could have swapped this guy with Nick Foles, really. Blake Bortles going from the Jags to make room for Nick Foles, and he's now at the Rams, so I think he's just going to be a backup there. So, but still, you know, not a bad pickup by the Rams. Number 4, some of you might think this might be a little bit too high for this guy, but Cash likes this guy. He's got a great name too, Golden Tate. Who the hell calls their child Golden? I mean, golden is a yellow colour, and this guy's African American, so I don't even get that. Not trying to be racist at all, but it's just a silly name for someone, Golden. Yeah, anyway, he's moved from the Eagles to the Giants after a hole's been left there. He should do okay there as well. That's why the Cash has him so high. He does rate this guy just slightly. He's a very smart wide receiver. So that takes us to the top 3 players in Cash's free agency moves so far before the start of the 2019 season. So in number 3, the Cash has put a bloke who basically put his team out of any contention last year of doing any good, the Steelers. Cash sees this bloke as, I don't know if he's smart or selfish. You know, people want to get paid, I understand that, but, you know, you cost your team any chance of doing any well last year. And as you know, we're talking about Le'Veon Bell. Le'Veon Bell has now gone from the Steelers to the Jets. Now, thinking about it, selfish is probably the word for this guy. I mean, the Jets are, in Cash's opinion, the bottom 4 teams of the NFL. They are rubbish. And to go there, he's just basically going to be the shining star of that team. He'll break all sorts of records there. There's no one there that's going to come anywhere near him. They're all just shithouse at the Jets. So, you know, they've got Ty Montgomery as the backup. But, yeah, Le'Veon Bell should do really, really well. And I expect someone to draft him probably number 1, 2, or 3 in this year's draft. So we're up to number 2 now. Numbers 1 and 2. I could have easily swapped these two around. But in number 2 position in Cash's free agency move so far this year is Odell Beckham Jr. Odell Beckham Jr. Was a star, or is a star really, was with the Giants, has now moved across to the Browns. Rock can see the Browns. The Browns have some very special players there now. You know, you're adding Odell Beckham, Kareem Hunt, you know, to a team that already has Baker Mayfield. You know, they could be a scary team next season. But the Cash has only got this guy at number 2 because of injury, really. The guy is coming back from an injury. It's the only reason he's not number 1. But, you know, you've probably worked out who number 1 is. This guy's definitely selfish. This guy is Suki Lala. This guy is a crybaby. This guy would not be a nice bloke to meet. He's probably a real arsehole of a bloke. Backstabbing every single teammate that he's played with at the Steelers. You know, his so-called good mate, Juju, thrown under the bus. All because this guy didn't win the MVP for the Steelers. Yeah, Cash doesn't have a lot of time for this bloke as a person, but as a player, he clearly, in the Cash's eyes, is the number 1 free agency pickup this season. And we're talking about no one other than Antonio Brown. Antonio Brown moving from the Steelers to the Raiders. The Raiders are also in the Chiefies group, so great, we get to play against Antonio Brown twice a year. So the Raiders, again, you know, they're building up a team. Coach Gruden copped a lot of shit over his decision to get rid of a lot of players last season, but, you know, they're slowly building up to a pretty good team. So, you know, for the Chiefies to do well, they're going to have to knock this team off first. You know, you can forget, well, what are they now? The LA Chargers and the Broncos. But, yeah, the Raiders are probably going to be the stumbling block for the Chiefs, if anybody. So there you have it, guys. Rock's free agency take on what's happened so far. If you agree, leave a comment below. If you disagree, leave a comment as well. Cash will respond. Just another thing, guys. The invites are going to go out soon for FFL 8 2019 season. I've made a post on Facebook. All I want you to write is yes or no, whether or not you're going to be playing next season, so that the Cash knows who to send the invites out to. So if you can do that, the Cash would be really appreciative of that little 2-second job of writing yes or no. So with that, guys, probably won't hear from the Cash in regards to the FNFL for a while until closer to the season. But yeah, just thought I'd throw this out there and see what people thought. Yeah, just put some comments below. That'd be great. All right, guys, with that, that's the Cash out.